Hey guys, what's up? It's Ellie here. The Dishonored 2 E3 demo was absolutely brilliant. We definitely have learned a lot more about the game. We can all be excited to see Dishonored 2 come onto shelves in November. We have a lot to get through, so let's get right into it. As soon as we fade into the demo, we instantly see a beautiful demonstration of shadows and lighting in this game. We see a character that we may recognize from some previous concept art. My theory is that this guy is one of the people who possibly betray Emily and Corvo, and thus becomes one of Emily's key targets. We pan to see Emily typing away at a typewriter. It's a short scene, but can we appreciate the detail of it? As minuscule as the fan spinning, the dramatic lighting and shadow, the detailing of the wall, we can also recognize the idea of the tentacles from the concept art that represents an old folk story, and the slight glow from her desk lamp. It's such a peaceful and real scene, and shows us a snippet of what Emily's life was like before everything that happens in the early events of the game. We pan down, demonstrating the vertical build of the city of Karnaca, the Jewel of the South. The city already looks brighter and more lively than Dunwall in the previous game. We see guards and overseers wearing uniforms much different to those in Dunwall. They're brighter and lighter, representing the warmer weather and that southeastern Europe influence. The overseers are back with a new mask that looks pretty cool with a new chrome look. In this scene, we see that fishing is still a big part of life in not only the city of Dunwall but Karnaca too. And don't worry, I know a whale is not a fish. I say fish because if you observe on your left, we see what I assume to be shark-like creatures. This is due to their dorsal fins. We also see evidence of whale hunting going on in the cinematic trailer, so fishing and whaling still play a role in the culture of this game. Panning down the street, we observe a lady fixing up a poster, which is also an example of the new life Arcane Studios is bringing to the game. Harvey discusses the approach to world design, describing it as layered and how they focus on culture, the people living there, the work they do, the architecture, the economy, the climate, and even food and songs. We see Karnaca at night, lit up by a spotlight. We also get a look at some absent behavior from some guards, one playing around with his sword and another NPC shuffling around kicking the dirt. We get some more shots of Karnaca in the daylight as Harvey discusses the new custom game engine, The Void, an engine that was designed to support their signature art direction and level design. He also says the team wanted the game to resemble a painting in motion, and I think they did a fantastic job. We observe a rail car pull up before we get a closer look at the Clockwork Soldiers and their new design. In the first release cinematic trailer of the game, the soldiers were ceramic. However, after some design changes to make more sense with the overall environment and theme of the game, we can now see that they have a carved wooden look, and they still look just as cool and as terrifying in my opinion. It's also interesting to note that the overall design of the Clockwork Soldier has also changed, as well as the materials. It's gone from a spider humanoid-like thing to a bird-like thing, which, like I said, is still as cool and as terrifying. Let's take some time here to further appreciate the look of this game. So intricate and detailed. The showcase of the dramatic lighting and shadows instantly represent the theme and mood of each scene, and it looks phenomenal. Also, it is interesting to note that we see a smaller wind turbine within this city. This shows us that as well as whale oil, they also use small turbines to power the city. We also see more green and more natural elements in this game compared to the first game's main mission line. The most amount of green I saw was in the Lady Boyle's last party mission, and that was absolutely nothing compared to what I've seen in this game. We have this interesting scene that shows us some guards and other similar NPCs playing cards. This is the second time we've seen this if we go back to a particular concept art and observe it. The scene continues to pan, and we also notice a pool table in the background. Now, I'm not sure if this is hinting at a minigame type thing, like Caravan in Fallout New Vegas for example. Kind of an out there speculative thought, but regardless, it's a cool little lively scene that the player can observe while moving through levels. As Harvey talks more about going further in depth with the lives of the NPCs in Karnaca, we get a dark scene of bloodflies. It also looks like we'll be seeing some pianos sitting around. Perhaps we as the player can randomly interact with them, perhaps use them to distract guards. Or what if we took out the person playing? Would the guards notice? Here we get a further look at the creepy movements of the Clockwork Soldier, and Harvey discusses how there will be more history and lore in the game, giving examples like watermarks on walls from past floods, peeling posters, and advertisements from years ago. I also want to note that we've been shown this game at various times of the day, morning, noon, evening, and night. It's great to see that each level will vary in terms of time as well as theme and weather. Wait, hold up. Did that guard just do that? It looks like guards in this game will have some new skills, and I'm not sure if this is actually what guards will be doing in the game or if it's just showing off that they can use the vertical space, but that random movement is absolutely terrifying and exciting all at the same time. Here we see some more greenery, and I have a feeling that windows and glass ceilings are going to be a more prominent thing in this game to bring in more of that natural light. We also get more of a look at the dreadful wheel before Harvey then moves on to talk more about the story of Dishonored 2. Moving on to what I believe is probably the intro or early scenes of the game itself, Emily enters a room where she is introduced and we get a first listen of her voice in-game as she addresses those in the room. She says, "Today we honor my mother, the late Jessamine Coldwin." This, as well as the banner in the background, suggests that we are in a memorial for the previous Empress. We now get our first look at the in-game Corvo. Emily's gaze shifts to Corvo as she walks with the Royal Protector. Let's also note that Emily calls Corvo father. This is now official. Corvo is Emily's father, finally confirmed, and I am so excited. Yay. We get an awesome showcase of both Corvo and Emily's voices here, and I think they fit wonderfully. Stephen Russell as Corvo and Erica Luttrell as Emily were great picks to be the voice actors for these two protagonists. I'll play this scene again with the sound because it's just too awesome to skip.
Mother was still the Empress. I don't think I'm very good at this.
You're still learning. Don't worry about the rabble-rousers, and we'll catch the Crown Killer eventually.
People are saying it's you. But these assassinations are a misguided effort to protect me.
No, someone's trying to make us look guilty by targeting your enemies.
This discussion as they walk brings up the fact that there have been several murders and Corvo once again is being accused. He says that they are an attempt by someone to try and make both himself and Emily look guilty. So, did the events from the previous game ever settle in that 15-year gap? I guess not. The two drop flowers by the encased memorial to Jessamine, and Emily walks off. After a fade to a black screen, we hear screams. Harvey states that an otherworldly usurper seizes the throne, and we know from the trailer that that otherworldly usurper is Delilah, a powerful leader of a coven of witches and main antagonist in the first game's DLC, the Brigmore Witches. The pivotal moment of when we either choose Corvo or Emily is revealed, the two characters back to back in a combative stance. Emily and Corvo are both fully voiced in this game with their own emotional responses and abilities, so there is a lot of variation in player experience. The choice is yours. Now we see in-game movement that demonstrates jumping. The demo is entirely from Emily's perspective, and we see her traverse the rooftops in Dunwall as she escapes to the dreadful whale that will be your hub in Dishonored 2. She sprints and dives into the water to reach the ship to start her journey to Karnaca. Harvey goes on to discuss how the game explores different themes. He introduces the Dust District, an industrial ruin ravaged by terrible storms that hit at random intervals. The screen then fades to what is a quite familiar scene to those who have played the first Dishonored. But who is this boatman? Fans of Samuel, the boatman in the first game, will be disappointed to learn that this is not Sam, but will be excited to learn that this is, in fact, Anton Sokolov, the royal physician in the first game that works alongside Corvo. His identity has been confirmed by Harvey Smith himself. Emily then gets off the boat and we hear some of Sokolov's dialogue.
I'll wait here in the skiff and take you back to the dreadful whale after you finish.
Taking a look at this sign, we read Batista Mining District. We see some smaller turbines and we turn to see a desk similar to the one shown in the beginning of the demo, but take note of the halo that appears around particular items. This easily shows the player that they are interactive items. On her way out, we see a rat scurry across the ground. Remember that although the rat plague is over, rats are not extinct and we will still see them around to use for Corvo's advantage. We exit the dark sewer-like environment and walk out to a beautifully lit open-air scene that shows you a little bit of the layout of Karnaca and more of what the rooftops look like. The location reveals itself to be the Batista Overlook. Emily turns a corner and walks up some stairs to reach her target, Vice Overseer Byrne, but she needs to find her way around a Grand Guard checkpoint, sealed off by a wall of light and an electrified entryway. We also saw these in the previous game. The guards in front engage in a conversation as Emily susses out the way to pass them. She uses her spyglass, which is the equivalent to Corvo's mask optics upgrade, to spot the source of the power used for the wall of light, which is a small windmill. She uses far reach and some great agility skills to navigate her way vertically. She then spots a guard that is resting against the edge of the balcony and then takes advantage of this by sneaking up behind him and quickly taking him out with her sword. She pulls him over the balcony and onto the ledge out of sight of the other guard facing away. We can also see more highlighted items in front of her. The guard opposite her and the fallen guard actually notices that his fellow guardsman has disappeared from his post. This is definitely an improvement of the AI. He runs to the scene and Emily comments on a dust storm coming their way. The brief dust storm gives Emily the opportunity to sneak behind the second guard and easily take him out. The dust storm alters visibility for AI and can be used for a stealthy advantage. Emily pulls the lever to switch off the small windmill to disable the wall of light. She makes her next move, jumping off of the windmill directly onto her next target, taking him out in an instant. The other guards alerted, one vaults over the fence, and Emily uses her sword to fight before pushing a guard off of the ledge and running off. She uses far reach to grab a whale oil tank and throws it backwards at her enemies, pulling out a pistol to finish them off. Here Emily chokeholds a guard and moves him around, a demonstration of this new attack that could even mean using a guard as a human shield in combat. The game jumps forward closer to Vice Overseer Byrne at the Overseer outpost. Emily observes a poster on the wall. We hear dialogue from some Overseers. We also see an Overseer crouched next to a Wolfhound. We saw Wolfhounds in the previous game, most recognizably from the mission High Overseer Campbell. Emily then uses Mesmerize to capture the attention of not only the two Overseers but the Wolfhound as well, so she can pass through unnoticed. Using an incredible jumping skill, she hops onto the second floor into a room. Using far reach, she grabs and pulls an Overseer towards her, taking him out and laying him on a bed. Emily sneaks around a corner and is almost seen by another Overseer. We can clearly see the new design of the detection meter over the guard's head. We then fade into the Vice Overseer's office and see our target. Using her spyglass, she scopes out the scene. 3 Overseers are in the same room as the target. Vice Overseer Byrne is giving a presentation using a projector. This inspires Emily's next move. She plants a stun mine near the projector. She then uses the domino ability to connect all 3 of the other Overseers' fates. She then moves over to the projector and switches it off, grabbing the attention of the Overseers. One of the linked Overseers will then be ordered to turn the projector back on. When they head over to the projector, they will get taken out by the stun mine and the other 2 linked Overseers will also go down. It is an awesome showcase of the ability, and there are a bunch of other ways a player can creatively take out enemies within the game. Since Vice Overseer Byrne hasn't noticed, Emily takes the opportunity to perform a stealth attack using the ability Shadow Walk. This demonstrates the power as being both stealth and combat in-game. Harvey then introduces the last demonstration of the game. A mission called A Crack in the Slab, another example of missions in Dishonored 2 and how they are all built around big and interesting themes. This mission takes place in a ruined manor that has been sealed for several years. At the start, the outsider reveals himself and explains that reality is warped inside this place after an occult event. The player's supernatural powers will not work inside of the manor, and even time will behave strangely, allowing you to move back and forth between the ruined present and the past, back when the manor was lavished and refined and still inhabited and guarded. Looking through the outsider's timepiece, you can see the alternate timeline, which is useful for solving puzzles like traveling through locked doors. This timepiece can also be used to avoid or take down enemies. You can watch enemies in the alternate timeline and then step through to execute your plans. You can also see that certain collectible items will only be available in certain realities. This mission looks so interesting and awesome. The thought of traveling through time and different realities absolutely blows my mind. This definitely is a mission I am really looking forward to. And that concludes the fantastic showcase of Dishonored 2 at E3 2016. I have more videos covering information on the game, so go check them out on my channel. Like the video if you enjoyed, links to all of my social media below, and subscribe for more Dishonored 2 news. Bye!